Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Star Wars Jump to Lightspeed Showdown that took place at the Comic Bug in September. We have an extra treat for you. I have a guest with me. I'm SBS Lazy, and with me I have Logray. How's it going, Logray?
Pretty good. Always excited for you to call me a treat.
That's right. And I might call him Tommy or Logray as this goes in and out, and he might call me Luke, and that's just how it's going to be. I know our first ever video, I did commentary on his matchup with Sabine against Snoke, and this time we're actually going to see that Snoke again against the Talzin deck, Talzin Red Force deck from one of our locals, Jay. Again, we're South Bay Syndicate. We play local shops at the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach and Lost Planet in Torrance. Thursdays at Lost Planet, Saturdays at Comic Bug, and now, Tommy, I've heard we're going to do Sealed on Friday nights at Comic Bug, so that's pretty excited.
Yeah, I wish I could get out there for it. Unfortunately, my son has his Dungeons and Dragons on Friday night, so that makes it a little bit trickier for me, but I do love the sealed format.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in October at the sector qualifier. Hopefully I can get out there for it. And with all that, I think we can get started. We got an exciting match here, so I'm going to click over to it. And you'll see on the screen, they're just shuffling up. We have on the left, Snoke, Cluster City, and on the right, Talzin, Fortress Vader. This Talzin deck has done a lot of damage over the last couple months, winning Galactics and continuing to show well. Snoke is a relatively unknown leader, I think, but I think you and I also subscribe to this. If you have the showcase, you have to build a deck, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
100%. Also want to give a nice shout out to Jason, who's part of our South Bay Syndicate, for that lovely damage counter that he 3D printed up for us.
Yeah, it's going to make it very easy for us to track how Talzin's doing. Jonathan, the purist that he is, I think, bought his on Etsy a year or so ago, and he just can't give it up. So he's using his original one with his matching placemat and token for the Death Star plans.
Both of these mats looking very nice from Galactic Championships off the prize walls.
Yeah, did you end up with either of these? I didn't.
I did not. I know that you were after the Death Star plans mat, and it was sold out by the time you got to the front of that line. No, I got enough mats, I felt like. I ended up with the League mat, with the Revan mat, and I ended up buying a lovely Ewok mat. So felt pretty good about my collection.
Ooh, I think we're going to have to get that Ewok mat on stream at some point. All right, we see they're resourcing here. It looks like Jonathan was going to resource and then decided to mulligan. He didn't like that hand with the Devastator, and I don't know what's happening now. He's shuffling, but it looks like Jay with his Talzin is getting ready to select his second resource. What do you think of this matchup? Who would you say is favored?
I think the Talzin is technically favored, but Jonathan's a good player. The Snoke has some power. Things get out of control really quickly if they aren't dealt with, and I'm not sure that Talzin is a great counter into Snoke. Just tossing those experience tokens on changes the math on everything, and Talzin's really about trying to get that exact math to make sure that those temporary -1/-1s are effective to take out units.
Yeah, I know sometimes when you play a leader people aren't used to, it can create somewhat of an advantage. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out here as Jonathan looks to make his second resource and we can get started.
I didn't catch what Jay resourced as a second. It actually looks like he might have resourced that fallen lightsaber that was in his hand.
Oh, interesting.
I think there was a fallen lightsaber. It's interesting. Maybe he's looking to go a little bit wider there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. It looks like we're getting started with a Kylo's TIE Silencer and then a lane dodge on the other side with the Talzin's Assassin. Sorry, it's only partially on the screen.
I think that's a Karis.
Karis? Thank you, sir. Talzin's Assassin's a 4-cost one, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Here we go. Oh, Force Choke right away. Okay, giving Jay a draw but clearing the board. That will keep him off the Force and give Jonathan the opportunity to pump his Kylo to get some big damage early on. And I'm assuming that's another Karis.
Looks like it from the art, yes. Looks like we've pumped up that Kylo's tie there. Did you see what he discarded by any chance? Oh, no, he didn't discard. Sorry, we're using Snoke here.
I don't know what deck you're playing with, but Oh, and maybe with coming, there's the force throw, and he discards the HK, getting 2 damage. I see what's happening there. This is
I've been loving my Kylo 2 showcase so much that I just am in that lens for everything that I'm doing. So the Kylo's tie, thoughts of my lovely showcase threw me off the leader for a second.
That makes sense. So we see a resource, 2 Anakins, probably not needed for this matchup, so 1 goes into resource for Jay. That Kylo's tie is now in range of the Talzin ping if he does get the force, and I imagine that's what he's thinking about here. And Jonathan smartly puts another counter on it to keep it out of range, unless he has the Talzin's Assassin, in which case he could still play a unit and take that Kylo's tie out.
Looks like he is using 4, and there it is.
All right. I'm so glad that they've decided to have space on this side that's open and ground on the side we can't see.
It is very handy. Also, we need to work on straightening out the video a little bit. This did start to get crooked over the course of the day.
I think it's because people got excited as they were playing. They probably kept bumping the table. I saw you over there just going to town with Sabine, just knocking that thing over every once in a while.
I was going to say, I was on stream quite a bit and did get quite excited at the success of Sabine. Apparently, it's a strong deck. I'm not sure if people knew that.
That's the first I've heard of it. And
definitely flies under the radar.
And we are already up to 6 resources. While you and I were goofing off, I feel like we might have missed something in there, because I do see a Ruthless Raider coming down, getting some damage on. This must be the deploy turn now for both, so I'm thinking we missed a resupply.
Does appear that way. It looks like we probably put the 2 damage onto the Talzin's Assassin, which I believe is out of the screen down at the bottom.
Just went to a mystery unit. Got it. And here comes Snoke. Okay, so on the deploy, it looks like on the Talzin side, they have a nice board, 3 units out, plus Talzin can come out, and then Snoke has himself and the Ruthless Raider, so let's see what happens here. I think if that was a Fallen Lightsaber that got resource at the beginning, it sure would come in handy now.
And looks like the Talzin's Assassin ran into that Snoke.
Yep. Great. Getting one of our off-board units out of here. Super helpful.
Love to see it.
And then Snoke, who here's where Snoke starts to get dangerous, right? Comes in, puts a token on, hits for 5 immediately. And now there's a couple of big threats out there for Jonathan. What do you think?
It does look like it's going to be out of range on the Talzin, right? The Talzin, in theory, is going to be able to put a -1/-1 deploy, and then put another -1/-1, but it will not be enough.
Now, would you attack Talzin into Snoke here and clear it out?
So I think you might. You have enough of a board state. It feels like that's pretty strong.
Yeah, because you don't want like an overwhelming barrage. Snoke probably has force, so activates force throw, different things like that. You really want to get that off the board to keep any of that from happening.
Yeah, already have 11 damage on your base.
Looks like that is the decision he's making here. So that would mean that Talzin would take 3 back.
Yes.
And then another unit comes into play. I believe that was the IG. Or the GI. One of those 2.
It looked red.
Yeah. I'm glad I could bring you on for the most challenging one so far, where we can't see anything that's being played or anything that's happening.
I mean, we do have a clear view of the Secretive Sage and the Kareth, so at least there's that.
Yep, a Ruthless Raider is out there on its own in space. I guess space should be more vast. Oh, we got a Vader coming down. I'm thinking this is going into the off-screen Mother Talzin. Should have taken 3 from the Snoke, and then this will finish it off. So let's see what he can draw from here. I've never really played with villain green. It seems like this Vader is very powerful. Anytime.
I'm thinking up the Praetorian Guard is going to be nice.
So that gets Sentinel because Vader?
Yeah, and as long as you have a unit that has 4 or more power.
Okay, so Raider or Vader.
Yeah.
It's actually the name of my new deck, Raider or Vader. I'm going to be building out, so be ready for that.
excited about seeing Fett show up at our weeklies.
Let's see. So got it down. Took out the Talzin. Jay has a decision to make here. The board has flipped very quickly into Snoke's favor with the lane dodge and the Sentinel. It's going to be very difficult.
Looks like there was a reminder there that Talzin should come back exhausted.
I see a Tyrannus in hand, which means it could ambush out and take out the Vader. Oh no, he can't because the Sentinel. He still has the Anakin. I believe he only has Dark Side in his discard, so he can do -3/-3. Definitely a couple of options for him to stabilize here.
He doesn't have anything else, any other units live down below further, right?
No, I believe. Oh yeah, he has a Grand Inquisitor.
He does have a Grand Inquisitor too.
Yeah.
So it looks like he did ambush that Tyrannus in.
Yep. And that'll set him up with either taking that out or next turn using Talzin to defeat it. But I do think he's in a bit of trouble here. I would sacrifice the shield on the stage to take it out and then maybe run Inquisitor into Vader to clear the board again and then try and build back up. We'll see what happens here.
I think that sounds like a pretty solid play. Looks like he is following that advice so far.
And Jonathan claims. Seeing both these showcases out here reminds me of the tournament we need to put together. For those watching, we are building out a full showcase showdown tournament where we're going to put together decks with all of our showcases and then create a bracket style tournament and work through to see which showcase reigns supreme. Pretty excited. I think we're up to 24 showcases that we can put in the bracket. I talked to the Snoke player here and he wants in on it, so we might see Snoke showing back up, and definitely an exciting series to put together over the next few weeks. Maybe do some live streams on Twitch with live gameplay and then uploading the videos. Who are you most excited to play with in that showcase showdown?
I think I'm most excited to build some decks that I just haven't played around a lot with. Things that I don't typically play on a weekly basis. I think one of the ones I'm most excited about is actually Trench, which is just so against everything I do on a weekly basis.
I'm looking at that Trench showcase right now. It's beautiful.
It is really nice.
And I hear very annoying to play against.
I ran into a very good Trench player at the Galactic Championships as my first round match, and it did not go well for me.
I mean, a good Trench player with getting the engine rolling can be very difficult for any deck to deal with. All right,
I think the first...
Oh, no, sorry. We got Force Lightning here with this Raider, which is a great play, taking away its ability to do 2 damage, but it's countered by a Maul, which is going to put this Talzin player in a very tough spot as far as base damage. All the way up to 24, only 4 damage left on their base, but a lot of damage left to do, 22 damage left to do to Snoke. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do here. We do see the Inquisitor and the Maul. There is a trade opportunity there. But I did see earlier, before the mulligan, that the Snoke player resourced or had mulliganed a hand that had a Devastator in it, and if they've drawn a Devastator this game, that could be the end of things.
It does seem pretty hard to see a pathway to victory here for the Talzin player.
Good news, something out there traded into the Maul. Or the Maul just ran away and is going to come back to finish it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, what is down there that would be big enough to trade into it and not die, right? He didn't put anything into his discard.
He did not. Let's see. All right, we got another Kylo's tie. The space has really done some damage for him. I'm very surprised. I guess with some of these decks like Talzin, you really don't have a big space presence, so just a couple of space units can really add up throughout the game. This is the second Kylo's tie. We've seen the Raider come out. I do see a Raider in Talzin's hand that could be a nice quick answer, immediately killing the Kylo's tie and putting damage on base.
And I think that's one of the benefits of playing an off-meta leader like Snoke here is playing against Talzin. If you get out into space, there's not a lot of good answers, and that can get really big really quickly.
Oh, and there's the overwhelming barrage. Big play, because there was an opportunity to play Raider and clear his board. There was a Tyrannus out there. So now we know he, on the last turn, ambushed out the Tyrannus to kill them all, losing his shield. And then getting 4 damage to start here. So, interesting sequence of plays here. If we think through it, he could have played the Raider when the Kylo's tie came out, which would have eliminated his opportunity to overwhelming barrage, and would have killed the tie with 2 damage on base. Would have put him in a very tough spot, because the Inquisitor would have hit for 4, putting him up to 24. I believe he would be showing lethal on board next turn. So what a interesting sequence that really has put the pressure back on the Talzin player when he looked like he was turning the corner there.
He got all the resources open. The Ruthless Raider comes out now.
Yeah, I think he has to do it that way. And then he has the opportunity to use Talzin's ability to kill the tie, but chooses not to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not sure about that.
I think when people go back and watch, I think that turn will be a critical one if Snoke ends up taking this first game. Oh, and there is the Devastator to finish it off. Wow, okay. Amazing game one. As we think about what we saw there as the sideboard, that Devastator was going to end the game no matter what, so it may not have mattered in the end, but I think it'll be interesting to go back and look at that sequence to see if there was something different that the Talzin player could have done to win the game on that turn. Oh, and you see that?
I mean, I think if they had played that Ruthless Raider earlier and not had to deal with the overwhelming barrage, that would have made all the difference, right?
Yeah, so if you play the Ruthless Raider out right away, you do 2 damage to base, that goes away. You're able to attack with the Darth Tyrannus and the IG, so that's 8 damage. So 10 damage total that turn. I do believe he got the Tyrannus attack in before it died, so you're really talking about 4 additional damage, which would have taken him up to 24. But it looks like, I don't know if Jonathan top decks the Devastator or he had it in hand, but all he would have to do at that point is claim and play the Devastator for the win, so it's just a matter of that sequencing. But I do think if it was a top deck situation, you definitely could have set that up differently so that you presented lethal right away. The Talzin on that tie also could have happened to clear the board there. Maybe it didn't make a difference again, but just little things to think about on that specific turn that were very interesting.
Did you happen to pick up any of the sideboard action?
It looks like 4 cards are coming in. Let's see if we take a look at them. I don't know that Jay sideboarded based on how quickly he shuffled there. But you'll be happy to hear that I did update the score in real time, which we weren't sure if I could figure it out, but it does look like it is updated, so I'm happy to see
that is well done. Really proud of that effort.
Yeah. The first video that I did was produced with a different software, and then I'm trying a new one here so that we could simulcast, I guess would be the right term. So just trying out different things. I also flipped this video horizontally, so that it's going across the screen this way rather than up and down. I think another thing that we can do when we're filming in the future is figure out how to wide angle the camera and set it to record in the right way. Just little things, I think, as we're learning how to do this, that will continue to improve. So what do you think the Talzin player needs to do here to catch up to the Snoke and take game 2?
I was surprised the Talzin player didn't really sideboard in anything to look at space. It looked like they had very little space presence and answers in that area. And so I think that could have helped out a little bit. But the Talzin player, I'd love to see them move a little bit faster. It seems like the top end for Snoke feels stronger. So seeing if they can maybe worry a little bit less about trying to trade too many with units and try and pour a little bit more on the base. The Snoke player did get out to a pretty healthy lead last game.
Now, in the resourcing that just happened, it looked like the Talzin player resourced a Prestige Talzin's Assassin and kept a non-prestige in hand, I disagree with that play. Always keep the prestige version in hand.
Do you prefer the prestige versions or the hyperspace foil version?
My rule is more if I have a fancier looking version of the card, I'm keeping that one and I'm resourcing the regular looking one. It has no bearing on the game, but that's just how I do it. And we do see here a same opening as last game, a Karis and a Kylo's tie. But this time both get an attack off, so the force is immediately gained. And then a force throw, doing 1 damage to the Kylo's tie from that Stormtrooper. This is another opportunity where now Talzin is set up to use her ability to kill the space unit.
Yeah, that feels like that's going to be a pretty good move to take that out.
Yeah, and it looks like he has
especially before Snoke can take advantage and bump that up.
Another 2 costs in hand with the shield. And again,
that's the secretive sage that came out.
Perfect placement just off camera. One of my favorite things about this match so far is the decisions on where to place units. Has made for a very interesting commentary. Ooh.
Looks like the Talzin player decided to resource Power of the Dark Side.
I see that. It's an interesting play, but is it because they had 2 in hand? Okay, that's fire coming down. Forcing him to do something.
We have activated our Sentinel.
There's a lot going on with this card. You don't really see that card too much out of Boba, but this seems like a great spot for it.
I think any villainy units that have high attack are really beneficial for that Snoke.
Yeah, you can pump that thing up. I am interested to understand, is that card on the right another power? Is that why we think we saw that put down?
It does look that way. That would make a lot of sense.
So 2 from Secretive Sage into the Sentinel, I think, Secretive Sage? Which would have...
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, no, it has shield on. Okay.
Shield.
Removing its shield, giving Talzin the Force. I'm going to go with Talzin's Assassin. So give it -3/-3, and then 2 more into base there. And this is where I think having the Power of the Dark Side, although I just see he just top decked 1, it looks like, is super powerful because it gives you the opportunity to clear this space unit, which I think, as you called out before, he does not have an answer to. Although I do see a overwhelming barrage on the Snoke side, which is going to allow him again to clear the board going into these flip turns. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens here.
Should just be Mother Talzin able to deploy this turn. We didn't see any ramp on the Snoke side, right?
I believe you're correct. And I just did see another Power of the Dark Side into the resource pile. And here is that overwhelming barrage, allowing him to do 6 damage, clearing the Talzin's Assassin, and 2 damage on... Oh, okay. 1 on Karis, 1 on the Sage. It had taken 1 indirect damage before, so I believe that's why I killed it. So he was able to clear 2 of 3 units. And he did have so he did draw all 3 Power of the Dark Side. I think he might have wanted to keep 2 of them and maybe resource this Krennic or Sage. I just think that knowing that you were going to power a Dark Side, that's Fire Spray into the flip turn for Snoke could have really set you up to immediately defeat Snoke with another power.
I do wonder if he's trying to just go wide in this match and pour damage into the base, knowing that his opponent has Devastators and other giant things at the top end.
Yeah, it's very possible. And I know the Snoke deck is also playing a lot of smaller units. We saw the Stormtrooper. We've seen a couple of the Kylo. So you might have been worried that these little 1-cost units are going to come out and eat up his Power of the Dark Side. It just so happens that the Snoke is playing 1 unit at a time at cost. So basically, at 5 resources, a 5 cost. At 6 resources, 6 cost. So he's really doing a 1 at a time. So that's when Power of the Dark Side is at its strongest. And there's no way you could have known that going in. But I think when he drew that second one on 5 resources, it'll be interesting to go back and think about what he could have done there.
I'm also uncertain where the 2 damage from the Ruthless Raider went. So
I believe it went on Talzin, Mother Talzin.
Ah.
Our classic off-screen friend. Okay, so he gives -3/-3 to Snoke, which means the attack can only bump the Ruthless Raider, leaving Snoke at a 1/4, which does put him in range of lethal for Mother Talzin on the attack with the -1/-1 and no damage back to Mother Talzin. So really nice play from the Talzin player to get that assassin out to take out the leader here.
The Talzin player seems to be in a much better place here, was able to pour a good amount of damage into the base early on and establish board control on the ground. Nothing in space has felt too dangerous. This Ruthless Raider is getting beefier, but...
Okay, we see it do 2 damage into Snoke with the Secretive Sage, and then attack into it to finish it off with the Talzin. It'll be interesting on that math, Tommy, were both attacks needed, or could have the Talzin have taken it out on its own?
I thought the Talzin could take it out on its own with the -1, but...
Is Snoke a 4-7, 4-6?
It's a great question. This is the problem when we start seeing some of these leaders that we don't always see all that much.
I have him here so tiny on the screen I can't read it. So
4-7.
4-7. Okay, so he had -3/-3 was a 1-4. Talzin's attack made him a 0-3, so maybe a couple damage missed there. Unless we missed something else that happened that gave it a bump. See a force throw in hand and another unit. I believe there are 3 units on board. So it looks like they're going to be able to pour in some damage. Here comes a Vader. Just a brutal card. And will he pick up another Sentinel here and stop this onslaught of damage? Because the Snoke...
I do see a Praetorian Guard in that.
Oof, what a pull. Because there was at least 5 more damage on base.
Oh, and we now don't know what he pulled out.
I pulled out something that did...
Oh, something to ambush.
Okay. Oh no, he ambushed with the Vader.
Oh, yeah.
And it had
what else did he put out?
The Vader earlier. And so, just like that, the Vader has flipped the board and really put Snoke back ahead. Just an unbelievable card to get out there. And let's see. I'm assuming it's the Sentinel, because if he saw it, he brings that out. He basically has lethal next turn and is stopping all of the attack from his opponent. So I could imagine it being the Sentinel. That seems like the best play there.
Amazing the staying power that Set 1 Vader has had.
Yeah, and
Set 1 Luke, for that matter. Those 2 cards have just really been staples in these colors all the way through.
And that Luke, I think, gets used in so many different decks. You're seeing the Vader fade a little bit as this villain green has really switched over more to Boba. But when it comes out, you're quickly reminded of how powerful it is.
And looks like we have a Secretive Sage off the board, and I didn't catch what that was.
It looks like you used all 7 resources. I'm wondering if it was it the brother?
Could be.
That would seem to be something that would help him out here. There's actually a nice hand. He's got a force throw, the Tyrannus that can ambush once he gets the force back. An IG. And another IG? See what happens here. I believe the board state is Vader again, along with the Praetorian on that side, and then we have the Karis, Talzin's assassin, and maybe the brother, or some other large unit. I don't know if you saw that little peak on the Snoke side, but I believe that was a planetary bombardment sitting in his hand.
That would be a very nice card.
Now, I've seen you sneak that into your Sabine deck as well. What is it about that card that you feel is so versatile across multiple decks?
I think it just provides so many different choices. I love the options that it really allows you to do. It puts your opponents into a difficult choice on where do they want to put that damage. It can clear out units. It can change the math on how to get to lethal. I just think, especially in Sabine, it's kind of an unexpected, although we've seen it in a couple more lists on the internet. So I think some people are seeing it out there, but it does take you by surprise.
And it looks like the Karis here was able to trade with Vader after attacking and activating the Force. Very efficient trade on the Talzin side. I just got a peek at the Snoke player's hand. It is a Planetary Bombardment, Devastator, and Maul. It's going to be very difficult to overcome here. But that is just the perfect hand that you want at this stage of the game, and we do see the Maul coming out. Let's see where he decides to put the damage with the Maul. This will go into the character that is off screen. Oh, it was a Krennic. Okay. And that puts him up to 23, which is getting desperately close to lethal here. Actually, a Maul attack finishes him off, so he has to answer the Maul now for claim.
I believe the Ruthless Raider is lethal as well, correct?
Yes, you are correct. With the Snoke token, both are lethal. This is just a tough spot. And you can see there he uses the Force Throw. He is 6 damage now. He did not have to pre-pick the Raider. He could have killed the Maul. Interesting. Although now that
he does put the Raider within the range of Mother Talzin's ability.
I think what you do here, based on his hand, is you attack into the Maul, then Tyrannus ambush it, and then use the Talzin ability, and that'll let you clear the board. But the key is to attack one of his Force units first into Maul to gain the Force.
And to put Maul within range, right?
Yes. And he doesn't know this, but we do. Once he kills the Raider, it will put him in lethal range for the Devastator that's in Jonathan's hand. So it's really just a tough spot. Amazing back and forth that's happened between these two decks. Just Snoke bringing out big unit after big unit, and Talzin using his ability plus all of the abilities of his units to really take those bigger units out and maintain some board control has been very impressive, and I think it just is going to run out of a little gas here at the end. The Talzin looks like at the end here did not draw any of his heavy hitters and continue to draw smaller units to try to find answers with that, and I think that might be what ends up giving this game to the Snoke based on what we're seeing play out here.
I do think to your earlier point about Power of the Dark Side as well, I think having a second Power of the Dark Side would have been helpful at a couple points throughout this game.
Yeah, this game just happened to play out where the Snoke played monster after monster, and that's a perfect situation for Power. So let's see what happens here. He took out the Raider. Imagine Jonathan is claimed or is claiming. He has the Devastator in hand, so he has an idea of what's going to happen on his end. And I think on the Talzin side, trying to figure out the exact sequence to take out the board. We do see the attack there, gaining the Force back. And then the Tyrannus coming in, I believe. I believe that's the best card in hand to come in and answer this. And there we do see that. So I think similar to game one, the Talzin's Assassin getting up to 8 resources really starting to take control of the board. And you can see he has lethal, right? Because he has 8 damage he can do. But it just is the Snoke has this Devastator, and that's going to be enough to finish the game. And just very well played by both players. I believe in both games they got to lethal in the same turn, and it's just the Devastator coming in to give the win to Snoke and for Snoke to take this 2-0. Just great performance by both players. Really appreciate them letting us stream this. And just what are your overall thoughts of the match?
I was excited that it was such a close match. I love it when it comes down to those final decisions. I always appreciate being able to watch people on their phones, although it does look like he is reporting his score on Melee. I was hoping there might be something else in there. But really fun game all the way. Really fun game all the way around to watch. I think every single one of those decisions, to your point, makes a big difference. It's always fun to go back and watch through and see how much of that one decision that you made back in like turn 2 or 3 end up playing out all the way down the line. But really great game by both players. Exciting to watch. Always fun to be able to see how different people are approaching different deck building and bringing in different leaders. Love both showcases. Mother Talzin is one of my favorite arts, so always excited to see her get in play, and really excited to be able to talk about this match.
Yeah, thank you for joining me today on this matchup. We will have a couple more videos from this showdown. We do have the top 4 and the finals match, as well as some other ones throughout the day. Please, if you enjoy what you watch, please like and subscribe, I guess we're supposed to say. We'll put our Discord link. You can come join our Discord and come chat with us. Feel free to comment on any other things you want to see from our channel. And if you have any ideas of good showcase decks, we have a lot of off-meta showcases. We'd love to see those decks, and maybe we put them in our tournament. Thank you, everyone.